But yeah, like how does it feel then being at the top of the roster? Because there's so many talented wrestlers out there, and you've constantly, month after month, been involved with different opponents. How's it felt to be at top of the roster and to carry the women's division?
At first, I was like, oh, gosh, it's one of them. And you think there's a target on your back, no, everyone's after you, basically. Um, and then I think with me at Progress, it just seems the way that no one can possibly just ask for a match or just ask Progress Management for a match. They'll just have to jump me or ruin my matches with other people to try and push themselves further up in the queue. So, things like that where I've learned that them processes now are starting to aggravate me more. So I think as my number of days of being champion are starting to become more, I'm now kind of looking at it as in as nice as it is, I'm kind of ready, for the next
Yeah.
challenges, but I'm ready in different ways.
Because that's what's happened. You've taken on many opponents. You've wrestled in different kind of matches, been ladder matches. I mean, what would you say are your standout title defenses?
I think definitely the four-way ladder match at the super strong style. I think that's definitely got to be up there because I think that was another weekend, thankfully, like 2 years in a row that it's not even just the women's championship, but the girls have gone out and like kind of stolen the show. So that was like a standout one. And I think in my head as well, that one was my way of having three number one contenders. So that's my way of beating each one of them and sending them all back to the queue. Not that
Oh,
that's
man.
happened because now,
Yeah,
they all rear their
yeah.
heads back up again. But I know that I've beat them all individually and I can I beat them all in the fatal four way and I know I can beat them individually. So
Yeah, I mean that's crazy, and it's kudos to you. I mean, what was the feeling like going into that, like with you and your opponents and stuff like that? How was the mood backstage?
I think it's always one of a bit of like a bit more nerves than a normal one because you know that it's not a case of me having to get pinned. Like a singles match is all on me. So if I lose the championships because I got pinned or I got submitted, and that's on me. But it's knowing that there's someone who could like take me out of the equation for a moment and steal the moment. There's just too many people that can easily take the championship without it really involving me. So I think that's the one where you're like, there's it. It can be gone so easily in a match like that.
Yeah, it can be, and that's the thing. The fact that you're able to carry on after the super strong style with the ladder, and it's crazy because progress has really been in many ways. It's been a great platform for you to grow. I mean, you came
Mm-hmm.
in sort of after the pandemic. You had the title shots before. I mean, how have you felt that your progress has played a big role in the progression of your career?
Definitely, definitely, yeah. Because I think for a lot of people, the goal is to get to it. Like Progress and a few others, like the top companies in Europe, independence wise. So I think everyone wants to get there, and when you get there, it's kind of a way of like you've done it, you've got there, you've obviously done something right to get to that position, and then to be able to stay. I think is another thing in itself. I try now and more living the moment. So I think getting to a place that is my goal is one. Then to
Yeah.
stay there is two. But then to become the women's champion or a champion of any kind there is the next thing. And then it's then maintaining that championship. So I think being able to go through the step process and know that I've held that from my first match at Progress to everything that we're doing now with Progress, I think it's great and it's nice because I think at one point Progress did get a bit of a bad rep, especially just like coming
Mm.
out of COVID and stuff. They did seem to like I don't know, it wasn't in a good light, but I do think that internally Progress have worked on that to build Progress to what it is now, and it's so nice to see that it's the hard work of a lot of people, whether you see them in the ring, the referees, the crew, production, everybody at Progress working towards that goal of bringing it back up to being number one, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's grown, and like you say, you've grown along that way. Did it feel natural? Like, did you sense a change in yourself, almost coming from somebody coming up, learning, and getting involved in the big matches, Gazelle Shaw, we could say one, to now being almost like a locker room leader? Have you felt that change? Did it come naturally? How do you Do you sense a change in yourself now from then to now in 2021 to 2024?
I think at the time, I don't feel the change because it's natural. So I think because you like, I was doing tournaments where like I did the Revelations of Divine Love tournament and I won that. So then my goal was the championship, which then led to Giselle Shaw. But then I lost that at Manchester. So then it was kind of, I felt like I did the snakes and ladders. I went all the way back down again and then went into like the Thunder Bastard and won that. And then had the key for that then. So like, that was on my terms. But then having Lana Austin and the Lana Austin experience, or having her as a guarded champion, made it a bit harder to capitalize on that. So I think because I was always concentrating on so many things, I didn't really notice it. I wasn't living in the moment as much because I was thinking, how do I get to this? How do I break through and get to Lana Austin essentially at the time?
Hmm.
So I think I didn't really realize it, but now, like now when I look at it, I do realize it because there's people who will ask me things and people who come to me if they have anything that they want to say or ask or this or that or the other. So then I do feel it then when like the locker room leader thing. I do like I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool that they've come
Yeah,
to me and asked me. I appreciate that. So
yeah, that's fantastic. And it's great to see the hard work pay off. And with that in mind, like you've got a really good rapport with the fans. How important to you is that? And how do you sort of build upon that and ensure that, you're able to really play to the fans that love what you do?
I think it's just the appreciate hard work. The appreciate that everything I've done since coming in to getting to where I am now has been just working every time, doing the game of snakes and ladders. Like I say, like you work up, you think you've got it, you haven't. Something comes back down to number one, then you work up again. So I think them seeing me do that, but then also I think they've seen me without really me noticing. They've seen me grow from the Rhio
Mm,
that was at Progress in 2021 to the one that's leading Progress now. So I think that
yeah,
they see that huge difference in me that sometimes I don't see.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and I think like it's having that relatability, but the rapport with the fans is always number one because essentially they are the people that are going to push for you to do great things. If fans online or fans there, creating a lot of noise for you, it just opens up so many opportunities for you, and it is a good feeling. There is nothing like kind of being down. You're in the rings, you're thinking, oh God, like I've been hit with something, I'm hurt or whatever. But then just hearing them like chant you, and you think, right, okay, like I'm ready to go now. Like I have
Yeah.
people that are behind me. I can't let them down. So, and I think it does give you that buzz. So it like I said, the rapport with the fans is just so important, and it's one of
That's
the things I
brilliant.
love.
Oh, that's really good to hear. And I think, as I say, fans do you love you. We love seeing you in the ring. All the matches stand out, and that's one thing. The women's division, especially in Progress, but also, you've seen it Red Pro. I know you was top of the sort of tower at ICW as well. It's great to see that. I mean, you've definitely been in the biggest promotions, I would say, in the UK. And nowadays there's a lot more of a blur of, talent coming from the bigger mainstream global companies. Recently in Progress, there's been people like Danhausen, Marina Shafir was here not long ago. When that happens, has there started to feel like there's a network to start to be able to branch out and look further upon that? Like, how important to you is that to see if you could hit it on a global stage? Because you've clearly got the skills to do so.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is important, but at the same time, there's that weird thing I think that's happening in Brit Rest at the minute is I think because it's like since like kind of speaking out and having the cost of living crisis and COVID, I think there's a few things that have kind of hit it, but it took
Mm,
a whole new group of people because like the favorites at the time went to NXT UK, so I think there was a few things that just kind of hit Brit Rest time, like were just getting hit time and time and time again. So you had this fresh group of people kind of without the system as it usually is. Usually they have like the top ones at the time they go off, but there's still other top ones that are here to teach the next. But it seemed at the time pretty much all the top ones went. So then this new crop of people just had to go, right, we've got no time to work up. We have to do this now.
yeah.
So I think it's quite cool for me. I think that the hard work of so many people, and I think that's wrestlers, referees, again, ring crew, production, fans, everyone has made Brit Rest come back up to a point where I think I look at it now and I'm like, as cool as it is having Danhausen and Marina Shafir and people like that come over, and yeah, like you say, we can build the connections and hopefully then branch out to the States, or if it's any of the Japanese wrestlers, hopefully we can then build relationships with New Japan and Noah and things like that. I get like a feeling that Brit Rest is now getting a bit of a buzz of then they want to come
Mm,
here too. And I
yeah.
think that is the coolest part, is that we've now got these groups of wrestlers that people like, oh, like they're coming here, seeing us, and then being like, oh, these are good,
Mm,
and like I think it's a nice two-way exchange now. At one point, I think it had gone kind of everyone wanted to go to the States, and of course, and other things, but now it's like that switch where I think they're wanting to come here. They're
which is
wanting to face
great.
us. Like Jordan Grace, when she came over, she came here. She wanted to face the best girls that we had. She's the one who's going, oh, there's a bit of a buzz here. And I think it shows with kind of TNA doing like the gut check here. It shows with like AEW doing All In for 2 years and then Forbidden Door next year. And I think like WWE just announced an Elimination Chamber next year for the
Mm,
UK as well. And then having like the Clash in the Castles and thing like that. I think like all the big companies are putting big pay-per-views here now. And I
yeah.
think the British wrestling scene is just growing strength by strength. So it's cool to have them come over here and establish the connections. But I also think, wow, like we're making them do that though. We're making them
Yeah.
want to come here and go, nah, there's some fun stuff happening over here too.
For sure, and that's a good thing. And so is that's important for you then to really want to continue to build Brit Rest because it is growing. I mean, like you said, you just mentioned all those companies that have come over, and what's been really good is we've almost had our WrestleMania weekends, haven't we? Because there's big shows going on here, there, and everywhere in London during All In, Glasgow for Clash at the Castle, Cardiff when that happened a couple of years ago. So is it really important for you to keep pushing Brit Rest? Because I personally I don't feel we're far from what people would call that peak when Progress was at Wembley Arena and ICW was at the Hydro. Like, is it important for you to keep pushing it as far as it can go over here and sort of retain what British wrestling's all about?
Definitely, yeah. Because like again, we don't want to be left in a position that we haven't, like if anything does happen, like hopefully, fingers crossed, people are starting to, get noticed by these bigger companies again, and we're starting to have that look in. We don't want Brit Rest to suffer for that. So I think it's important to build its presence elsewhere, so people are interested in Brit Rest. We want them big companies to be looking over here and looking at wrestlers and going, yeah, we want them, and as many of us that can be looked at, I think the better because we're showing quality. But also we
Yeah.
don't again like we don't want it to be jeopardized because of that. So I do think like it's very important for the people who are at the top of these bigger promotions, well, in every promotion, but in particular the bigger ones, to push Brit Rest as much as we can. Whether that we're going to Japan and showing them what Brit Rest is about, or going to the States, Canada, Europe. I think we all have that job to push Brit Rest, and I think no one looks at it as a job. People look at it as I want to do this. Like for
Mm.
me, I want like whenever I get like a mention in like PWI magazines and stuff, I think that's so cool because it just throws eyes back into Brit Rest. And I know there's like Oku and Derice and Luke Jacobs and Lycos Jim and all these other people who are also constantly getting noticed, and Leon flying the flag for Brit Rest in TNA and things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool and so important for all of us to show what we can do. So I'll throw Brit Rest in as many people's faces as possible.
I love that. I love that, and that's clear because I don't think I've ever seen it when I think you were the first when you used to come out with both your Progress and your ICW belts at both promotions. And how did that come about? Was that something you pushed for? You said, "Look, I want to show that I'm running Brit Rest," or yeah, because I don't remember that happening on such a sort of visual presence before you did it.
Do you know what, like myself? Yeah, I can't think of male or female anyone that had done that before
No.
me. But I think it was so important to show as well that look how things can be if we work together. Like, there's no reason that I shouldn't be able to walk out with the Progress Women's World Championship at ICW and vice versa, because they're on different streaming sites and they are completely different products. That's what I'd had the conversation with both managements. And do you know what? Surprising, I thought I might have to have a bit of a fight. I thought, oh. I might have to plead my case and get like a bit of a PowerPoint presentation
Right.
on why this would be great. But they were both, as soon as like I said it to them, they were both like, that sounds great. That sounds like it's
Brilliant.
best for business. And, you know, I do think that these promotions do want to like have these better working relationships, which inevitably again builds BritRest to be stronger, doesn't it? You know,
Of course.
I think the more that we all start working together, these promotions, the better. The things that
Yeah.
could be done. So like I was pushing for, come on, let's get these, you know, wheels in motion kind of thing. And like I say, I can't fault either of them because they were both really great for, yep, let's do it. Please bring it here, take ours there, and they both got the extra coverage. So I was buzzing with that.
Oh yeah, it looked great, and it just showed you as the person at the top in BritRest, and so more praise to you because it was great to see, and with progress, it's still great to see you with the belt there. And like when you think about progress, like there's some big names there backstage. Who do you really click with? Who do you learn from? Who do you look to take inspiration from and guidance from? Is there certain people there that you really gel with and have learned a lot from?
You know what? Like, there's quite a few people. I think for the first part as well. Like, as much as I hate to admit, Lana Austin was great. I think when a lot of the girls from the Northwest would say Lana Austin is one of them that kind of stands out for a lot of us because she's, you know, a lot of us have been coming up when she was like going viral for the referee video and things like that. And you know, I think she's always been a great one. She's been honest with people when they've asked her, you know, how was that, and she's never give you the feeling that she fears her position being taken. She's always do this, don't do that, you know, like in her opinion kind of
Great.
thing.
Yeah.
So I think she's always a great one. Kanji's another good one. I think she's so creative, like with what she does. And I think that the Kanji now and the Kanji in 2021, they're again so different. The
Mm.
evolution and growth of Kanji has been like phenomenal. But to be honest, all the women, I think like I want to know what they're thinking because they're the ones going against me. They're the ones that would, if ever there became a thing of like maybe, you know, especially with like Defy and Progress leading like this, if it was ever Defy women against Progress women, they're the people I'm expecting to stand with me as
Of
it
course.
stands, you know. So like I want to know what they're thinking as well. And like Progress, like I have said, they've got the best women's division in Europe, and I stand by that. I
Yeah.
will someone can argue with me until they're blue in the face. I think Progress has the best women's division, and you just can't tell me different because if we line them up, like I welcome someone to try and tell like show me a division, a women's division that is stronger currently,
Oh,
and I just don't think people can do that. Um, but yeah, all the girls wise, but then like lads wise, having like Luke Jacobs, you know, us used, you know, when we had Northwest Strong going
of
on, and
course.
like Lycos
Yeah.
Jim, they're always super helpful. The Reese, he's always super helpful. So like them lads, I'm always like, oh, like, did you see anything? Is there anything like, you know, I want to know what they think as well. Kara's great. So they're the guys that I'd go to, I think.
Oh, it's an incredible roster. I mean, just name out these names. I think with that said, we've got to look at your next defense, October 27th. It's Lydia Evo. It's a tough one. She's obviously she did the dirty on you. She sort of laid you out after the last show. She's
Yeah.
been making waves. She's obviously doing things across different promotions, big matches coming up in other places, but none bigger than this. And what kind of match are you expecting against her, and how do you feel about it after everything that happened in September?
See, that's another one, and it like so I am fully aware of what she's capable of. I understand that she is world class. She's a phenomenal wrestler, and she's also a great mouthpiece. As much as you won't want to have to admit
Yeah.
it, but you know when she says something, you believe it because she does what she says she's going to do. She does. So I can respect that, but like again, you're telling me that you're going to beat me, you're going to do this, do that, but yet you had to jump me from behind to do so.
Hmm.
If you want to call me out to my face. But that's what none of them can do. And that's what I can't get through to them is like, I'm a very, very much like an open champion for that. This is why I put it out worldwide. And I've said, anyone that wants a shot, get at me because I'm not going anywhere. Like I'm here, you know where I am. But then the women at Progress start to get a little bit angry because they feel like they're next. But give them more than enough opportunity to be next. So if you don't
Yeah.
come face to face with me and tell me that you want a match, then I'm just like left wondering what's
Yeah.
happening. So, but what I can't seem to get through to them is you only have to ask. Just come up to my face and ask me. But no, it's the typical wait till my back's turned. But the
Yeah.
problem for people is it's all right, you hitting me from behind and stomping on me and kneeing me in the face and doing all those things when you initially attack me from behind. But it's a lot. It's it's such a different story when you face to face with me. So
Right.
she has that challenge because October 27th, she's not going to hit me from behind. She's going to see me face to face. And I've said to her that this is a different one. We've had a bit of exchange on Twitter the past few days with the announcements and stuff because I think a lot of fans have realised that like there is that we're not sure which way this is going to go kind of thing.
Mm.
But with each passing time that I'm getting jumped or that people just have things to say about me that I don't think is true, you're just angering me further and you're dragging out a side of me that I don't want to come out. I don't like that side of me personally. But if
Yeah.
if you want to go there and you want that side of me, then I really don't want to hear it when you get the consequences of your actions because it's
Yeah.
it's it's a different level of me that's going to start coming out, unfortunately, for these people. And again, I just won't be held responsible. So if she wants it, then come October, that's definitely what she's going to get.
Amazing. So, Rhea, last question. Will you be the champion on October the 28th?
I will indeed, because I'm actually going to put a head through the canvas. I might even do it in the ring. I
Oh,
might put a head through the ballroom floor and leave her there. That's to be surgically removed.
wow. Rio, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I think you're flying the flag for British wrestling so well. Good luck, and I'll be there and be cheering you on, and all the very best. Thanks for your time.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.